Alright. We are here with the grand finals of the weekly North American ESL Cup. We've got Onside Gaming Solar in the bottom right side of the map. His opponent in the top left, Shopify Rebellion's Byun. Byun, absolutely unstoppable. Looked fantastic, had some rough TVT early games, but just looked so confident after that in his previous series. Now he's actually going for a Barracks Gas, pretty standard opening, but it's a pull first for Solar, which is amazing for defending Proxy Barracks builds. It also does feed into a 5 Roach Pressure, really good build on a smaller map, but to do that on such a big map, that would be madness. Unless you know your opponent doesn't scout, and you want to metagame that, you want to say, hey, I know you're not going to scout, your name's Byun, you're probably going to go Reactor first or something like that, and I'm just going to go for like a big 9-10 Roach Pressure off of this. But gas hasn't gone down yet, so looks like it's just going to be a 6 Zergling pressure. Notice he's saving lava here. So he starts the gas. 4 Zerglings. We should see 2 more in a moment. Yep, as that last Wriggly Boy lava pops out. So we've got 6 Zerglings on the way. And then a Queen. Now, only on 16 workers. You cut a lot of workers to do this pressure. But against the guy who's not even building a Marine right now. Yeah, he goes Command Center, then Marine, and then Factory. Factory will be up very quickly, but just 1 Marine. Not going to be able to handle 6 Zerglings. So, Byun's going to have to pull about 6 or 7 SCVs down to help defend this. And if he messes up and, say, loses the Marine, that could be just hugely problematic for him. You can see he's saving money, 50 gas he needs for that reactor. That's going to be very quick alien production, as we said. Now, the Lings are taking the long way around the map. That's a mistake, I think, for Solar. I guess he's not sure if a Reaper jumped down the right side of the map, so he doesn't want to get spotted in the middle, but does delay his Zerglings valuable seconds. He has to make sure he gets in there and kills that SCV. And tries to force these units down as quickly as possible. Here we go! Solar with a surprise maneuver in game 1 of this series comes in, starts doing some good damage. Nice Marine micro by Byun though, saves that SCV, and he does bring down 6 or 7 more SCVs, even the one from the depot. And oh, good focus fire by Solar there. Look at the way he's targeting. He gets 2 SCVs down, and Byun will now be able to get back on the command center. But a lot of mining time lost. 2 SCVs go down. Byun's forced to build Marines and a tech lab now on the factory, which who knows, he might have been planning to do anyway. The Zerglings come back in, try to get the Marine. They force those SCVs back off the line one more time. Solar going for a 3rd hatchery. He's got Ling speed coming up behind it and is starting his creep spread. Now he's massively delayed, but he's slowed down Byun. Lately, Byun has been enjoying a Cyclone opening with a medevac. So a Cyclone, 4 Marines, and a medevac. It's a really cool build. I love it. I actually think it's fantastic. And he just goes around the map picking off Overlords. And the Cyclone lock-on can shoot from such range. It's really easy to kill those Overlords. It pushes the Zerg's vision into a corner. And once that Cyclone's out, you can swap it around. Put the factory on the reactor, build some Hellions, follow it up with a Liberator or Banshees or anything else like that. Many ways you can execute it. This base is now fully saturated, so he rallies down to the natural expansion. Orbital was delayed a little bit. But overall, I think Byun's handled what was a very scary opening with a lot of potential damage quite well. He's looking for Overlords on the edge before he picks up, moves out with the Cyclone, and then an Overlord scouts him. This Overlord, though, very safe, hiding in the dead space. He could probably lock on and kill it if he knew it was there. So he might actually head down to that pillar as the first thing he does. Oh, he's hiding the Cyclone. That's interesting. What? What is Byun doing? Is he... This is so weird. He's leaving the Cyclone at home. And he's going to go Cloaked Banshees. Okay, 7 Marine drop. Interesting. Ling speed's finished. Solar's going to try and scout. Cyclone and 2 aliens will deal with that okay. You can see there, Cyclone shuts that Zergling down. Marine drop will still get an Overlord, so not bad at all. He's going to pick up and try and find this other one on this other pillar. Behind it, Solar's up on 45 workers. So that 3rd base already with 10 workers rallied over to it. Can he get this? No. Nice Zergling reaction there. Oh, he saves the Marine. Did he just not lose a single Marine? Oh my gosh. I mean, the Overlord does get saved by the Queens, but dude, Byun. Just nice fancy micro. He's got a Banshee, Hellion, Cyclone. That is a Queen killing force. He's going to unload and start healing these Marines right now. So he unloads, he starts healing his Marines. We've seen players straight up die to this. Solar is going for 10 Queens though, and he's saving a lot of transfuse energy. So he realizes that this could be a kill move. I think it might have been Gummio killed someone with this in one of his matches in GSL recently. He's been doing really well. Now, looks like Zergling run by will come in. SCVs are being transferred down there from the main base. As long as he has a few SCVs ready to repair, though, they won't be getting in. The Banshee comes in the natural. Hellbat Marine, Cyclone on the front. A scary push moving in. Looks like one Marine almost goes down, but not quite. That Cyclone adding some really good damage output. The Hellbat's starting to fall, but the Marines are doing a lot of damage. All the transfuse is gone. A lot of these Queens are going down. 1, 2, 3. Looks like a 4th Queen might go down as well as Banshee comes over here, and it's doing so much more damage. Oh man, if that Banshee comes north, it could do even more here behind it. It looks like the wall has been breached, but the Banshee does end up defending and surviving there. Units lost tab is in favor of the Terran. Kills 6 Queens, 37 Zerglings, 4 drones, and will replace that wall off. The Banshee survives as well, can go back and repair and come back later. But there's no 3rd command center. He's going into a big 2-base all-in. He's building a 4th and a 5th barracks, and it's going for stim here. So it's going to be a 2-base tank push. He still has the 2 Banshees to do a little bit of follow-up pressure. Solar on 7 Queens is rebuilding an 8th one, but I think he's decided it's too late in the game to be just massing Queens. Let's put that money into drones. No doubt thinking about a 4th base on the bottom left side. Okay, so he's going to expand in that pattern. Good Banshee positioning, just denying Solar's map vision a little bit. Solar hasn't really poked in with that Overlord. 4th gas is on the way. That's going to allow more consistent tank medevac production, as well as those reactors. Solar's 1-1 upgrades coming on in. I don't know if this push really has any punch to it. I feel like Solar's defended this well enough. I think he might be running away with this game. It's best of 5, so it's first to 3. I just look at the numbers, and it feels like Solar's just going to do nothing but hold down the Ling Bane key. I mean, his Baneling speed's not going to be ready for a while, but Byun's not ready to push for a while either. Oh, 1, 2, 3 transfuses. 4 transfuses used here. And at the end of the day, the Queen still is going to go down, I think. Oh! Overseer's coming up. So there we go. 4 transfuses and a Queen kill. Not bad at all for those Banshees, but they've used up most of their energy. And he rallied them on a bit of an awkward path there, but they're going to go straight through that Spore Crawler. This is, yeah, bad aiming, but he does micro it, fixes up that pathing, and he's going to just drive in. Gets a little bit of delayed mining time, forces Solar to kind of pull his drones off. You can see some of those drones weren't mining for a few seconds. No big damage, though. Bane speed's halfway done. Marine tank gathering on the north of the map. Combat shields is still about 40, 50 seconds away, and this creep getting way out far in front of this base is huge. On the other hand, we could argue that there is a little bit of an issue here, guys, and that is the tank positioning. If you can put tanks there, or maybe even down here, that could be great. On the north side, though, is that even a good tank position? Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I'm not really familiar with big 2-base pushes on this map. It's one of Byun's favorite ways to play TVZ lately. He's had a lot of success with games. Even when it looks like he's being shut down, the next wave always has a chance to win the game. You got to realize that Ling Bane, it needs the correct engagement. And getting this style going, it's all about denying that possibility. Oh, man. I think he's going to get jumped on. He's going to stim forward, is Byun, but oh, this is terrible for him. This is so bad. Terrible engagement, I think. Oh, man. He's got to save those Marines at least. He doesn't have a boost. Oh, he only saves 9 Marines. He gets completely rolled over. Terrible fight for Byun. Great fight there for Solar. And remember, it's 1-1 versus just +1. 2-2 upgrades are on the way. Trying to go Infestation Pit and Hydra Den is Solar. I would call that completely unnecessary tech. On the other hand, if you do get Lurkers out, you should be able to stop the 2-base push. Absolutely. Queens will deflect the drop. Banshee's coming in, and ooh, he could actually focus this down. There's an Overseer nearby, though. Transfuses will get used, and Byun should pull out of there, but he's not watching right now. And okay, pulls back, goes in towards the main. No Queen there right now. It's being very annoying. Looks like his medevac's unable to unload on that left side, though. Banshees go back to the left side, and they do end up derping out there. I think that was a bit of an F2A move. Marine drop on the north side comes in. Banelings say, hey-o, and almost get the hits, but just one Baneling gets sniped, and then the Marines pick up, get into the main base. Big Marine tank army on the south. It's a hard map to kill someone off. I don't think this map offers you the same tank positions and push paths as Data C, especially because he wasn't utilizing these rocks, which I think has got to be the best push path. This is a good one, though. That tank, especially down there, is awesome. 4th base does get taken down. Wait, no, it doesn't. He doesn't click on it. He doesn't click on it. Oh, no. Oh, man, the tanks are getting some big shots, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. He's focus fired on the Banes as well as he can, but my God, the Banelings almost getting on top of those Marines. Somehow, though, Byun is ahead in supply, and that means he's way ahead in army supply. The 4th base gets ransacked. Marines running it on the north as well, but the Queens do have +1 armor, soon to have +2 armor. Marines on the south side starting to push. That's what I'm talking about, man. It feels like Byun loses so many fights. I don't know if there's... I think there's an argument here, though, that Solar going Hive is completely unnecessary. Hydras and Hive is just a waste of money. I really think he should have been backstabbing with a lot more Ling Bane, cutting off the Reinforce. I feel like that's got to be the way to defeat this style. I could be wrong. I'd love to hear people's thoughts on that one. But I feel like you don't just headbutt into a wall. You force them to leave army at home, and you bring it back and try to sandwich these pushes, but... Solar was kind of headbutting into it from one side. I think the way Byun splits up and attacks multiple areas, he forces the Zerg to be defensive, and he gets these mistakes out of them, these little openings. Right now, he's up 35 army supply. The Marine's doing pretty good. +2 Carapace is finished, though, so man, it's a tanky Zerg army. Siege tanks don't care too much about those upgrades. Liberators won't either, which he is now building. His first 2 Liberators are arriving, making this a very, very difficult area to engage. Only Ling's not going to be able to find anything there. He sees plenty of units at home. Byun super responsible on the defense. No third command center for him, which tells me he's probably going to lift this base out at some point in the near future. Marine stimming in. Oh, trying to bait him into the tank lib. Medevac's taking a few hits here, but not actually losing any. That's still so much Medevac healing. He can basically permanently stim these Marines. They can just dart in and out and bait the Zerg into some bad fights. This is super costly. Solar, I feel like, almost has to give it up. He's got a Liberator Siege on the left as well. Oh man, Byun is such a problem right now. He is such a problem in this matchup. His 2 base pushes are just next level. And Solar does chase the Liberator off, but he's lost his 3rd base. He rallies over to what should have been a 4th base being rebuilt. Instead, it isn't. The drop picks up and goes in there. Byun is a little far forward with his Marines. He's got to be careful to not get too far out of himself. He sees a Viper out in the open. Overlord there is in the position. Big flank getting ready to come in. It's too late there. No, now though. Solar's already lost the base, so there's no reason for him to fight that push. He should absolutely keep focusing on the backstabs. But the army at home is massive. Byun is trading at better than 2-to-1 cost efficiency right now, despite the size of the map. It feels like the bigger the map, almost the better his pushes go. Byun has this weird 2-base pushing power that is just so epic. Now, Viper's absolutely smashed Tank Liberator. I wouldn't mind him going for some abducts here. Oh, Blinding Cloud would be big as well, but it looks like he did 2 Blinding Clouds on the same spot. And he flies the Vipers into the Marines. Oh, no. Even though he clears up the tanks and libs, Byun keeps a lot of these Marines alive. He's got another giant army that can come forward across this map. He drops in the main and gets 5, 6, 7 workers just like that. And as the Zerglings trickle into it, they're taking a rough engagement as well. This drop's going to fall back. This one Zergling in this base does end up getting an SCV kill. Make it a second one, does eventually go down. Byun's going to start gathering on the front. He knows if he kills this base, Solar has to tap out. Solar's Viper's dying is a disaster for him. He's trying to go Ultra Cavern from here. But Solar, it's all about the positioning and shutting down these pushes, and he just doesn't have the numbers left to do it. He's down 40 army supply. Giant Marine tank force at his 3rd. And my lordy lord, what in the heck? That is a mass of Marines. 4 siege tanks. 3 Liberators are going to siege up as well and make this a nasty proposition for the Zerg. Banelings blowing up on tanks is never a great situation. And he may kill 3 of the tanks, but he loses his entire army for it. And Byun says, hey guys, 2 base all in. Even on the biggest, most defensible map in the pool, I'm always going to find a way to make it work. Beautiful play by Byun. Well, he did a great job defending the first few waves, but teching really hard, droning a bit too hard. I think he was expecting a 3rd base transition from his opponent and was shocked at the number of units coming across that map. Solar dropping the first map, but ready to fight back for onside gaming. Rep and Shopify Rebellion in the top right. Byun there, the wizard of those 2 base attacks. I've never seen it on this map. I haven't seen too much of his Terran vs. Zerg on this map, but I've never seen him pull off that sort of move on this map. If he did, let's think about where those tanks go. I mean, tanks could wedge in here. And that's really hard to get at, especially if the Zerg hasn't broken these rocks. The question is, does he... I mean, if the Zerg doesn't take this base, and they don't take this base, if they just take their 3rd there, 4th there, you need to get way closer. So do you move your tanks along this edge? Do you siege a tank there and then try to get tanks there? Like, maybe a tank there and then try to get a tank there and have your Marine spreader. And I don't think it's as easy to get within spitting distance of these bases. I think it's incredibly hard, in fact, to actually do that. So I wouldn't expect to see it. Byun mines 5 minerals there, builds his command center, so he's just going to take the in-base. He loves that in-base expansion. And I mean, it's very safe. It's very easy to defend, so why not? Reaper opening for him. Hatch gas pool here for Solar. Big thank you, everyone, for the love who's watching either live or online on YouTube. If this one made it to YouTube, heads up. Probably means it was a pretty fun series, guys, even though we're only in game 2. Game 1 was already pretty good. I really like the tension in those games because it feels like Byun needs to get more damage done. He lost so many Marines on that top right push, the first Marine tank push. I thought that was a disaster for him, but sometimes a disaster makes your opponent so confident that they're like, oh, cool, I can, you know, build more workers, do this, do that. 2-2 upgrades were obviously fantastic, but Hydras are very expensive tech that don't really help against those armies at all. They really don't. Like, having Hydras is helpful against drops. It adds a little bit of damage. For the cost of the upgrades and the tech and the units, it's not worth it at all. So I think going Hydras, a disaster. I think going Hive for Vipers is very viable because you know they're going to be tank Liberator focused, and abducting the Liberators pulls them out of siege mode. So that basically just deals with the Liberators. Each Viper can just unsiege 2 Liberators and let your Queens deal with it. And 1 or 2 Blinding Clouds can be massive as well. So I don't mind the idea of the Hive, but I think Hydras and Hive and Vipers and trying to go Ultra Tech and 80 drones, there's, you know, there's no argument about the fact that, yeah, the first fights were good for Solar, but he went on autopilot a little bit from there. He wasn't actually scouting Byun's follow-up, played with a little bit of assumption that, hey, these fights were so good, I can get away with murder now. And Byun said, no way, dude. I'm just going to drop on the right, drop on the left, and then keep coming in with those pushes, finding those nasty tank positions. And I think Solar just caught a little bit too defensive there. Whereas if he had some more Ling Bane out on the map, he could have engaged Byun before he got into some of those areas. Now, Byun has gone for double Hellion production. He's building an extra Marine or 2 here, which is always nice. It means if you do get rushed, you've got Marines to put in a bunker. You can also shoot down Overlords quite effectively. That Overlord is just going to commit in. Does see the very quick 3rd command center there. And the starport, which is producing. So he's got to know that means either Viking, Liberator, or Medevac. Hellions are going to go clear up the watchtower to start. And of course, that creep spreading backwards into this area is so important for Zerg on this map. So he's got 2 Tumors on the front. He wants to put one down here soon as well. Probably do that with the next 25 energy on that Queen. And this 1 Tumor will work its way all the way around and then maybe even back up onto this ledge as well. Spore Crawler building for Solar, expecting a Liberator here. Cure tried to go for a Liberator versus Solar earlier today. They had a pretty good macro game on this map, but it felt like Solar was just able to outscale him in the late game. Cure had a crucial moment where a bunch of his siege tanks got caught out as he was moving out to take his 5th base. Lost 4 siege tanks for a bunch of Zerglings, and that was kind of the beginning of the end. I really think one of the big problems Terrans have, and we'll talk about it more if it goes to late game, is a lack of Widow Mines mixed in with their styles, especially if they're trying to defend with siege tanks. It's either that or wall-offs. Hellions actually going for a run by here. Oh my lord! Oh my god, that's a lot of drones clumped up. The Zerglings have to go in to save the drones. That means the Zerglings run in a bit of a clump, so they take a big volley as well. 11 workers and a bunch of Zerglings for 1 Hellion and a little bit of damage on these. This Marine accidentally brought across the map. He's going to try and dive in again. A little bit careless there for Byun. Loses 3 Hellions, a Reaper. He will kill these Zerglings, though. He definitely should turn and shoot on those. But that makes it a bit better. Killing 3 more Hellions and a Reaper for just a few more Zerglings there. Way more worth it. The Liberator actually went in the main at the same time. Sorry, guys. I didn't notice that. Bad observing from Mr. Pig. And he's going to siege up on the 3rd. He should focus fire the drones. Yeah, he gets 1 drone because he knows you know you're not going to kill the Queens. It takes 3 shots to take the Queen down. They've got transfuse available. These Queens are just bugging out. They're dude! Just give way. Just let her through. Stop fighting each... Oh, my God. Oh. Oh, it's very rare that happens, but sometimes if you cram some units in behind a mineral line or something, they will fight for space, both trying to get through at the same time and just kind of nudging each other out of the way so no one can get through. Good, he caught that. Upgrade slightly ahead for the Zerg by about 10 seconds, but his lair is very late, which means his Bane speed won't be kicking in until about 8 minutes 30. He's going to be a Widowmine style here for Byun. He's got some Marines coming out, some Medevacs, as well as 2 Hellions still up. I wouldn't mind him building the armory sometime in the near future. I think one of the big issues a lot of players have is forgetting that armory until much later, but he actually just starts it now. And that's a good way to think of it. Once you've got your 4th and 5th barracks up, it's like, hey, it's armory time. And that way you always can start your 2-2 the moment the other one finishes. Catches a Zergling scout moving out. Also catches a creep tumor. And a scan to clean up a few more. Very nicely done. Combat Shields is not ready. Neither is 1-1. And the Queens take down 1 Marine using Transfuse to repel that push. Baneling Nest is only now about to finish. And we should see as the lair finishes, Baneling speed is going to be of the utmost importance. Solar Fourth base in the bottom of the map. Lair's finished. Where's that Baneling speed? There we go. Instantly makes an overseer. Makes Baneling speed as well. Widow Mines are starting to rally in right now. So it's just Marines, Widow Mines. It's a very mobile and aggressive style that can go really well for the Terran, especially based off of how these Widow Mines go. But these Widow Mines are going very far forward. He's almost using those as bait to let his Marines do the damage. That's interesting. A very different way of doing things. Oh, Solar's trying to play coy here, but his upgrades are very exposed. Oh, picks up the Marines at the last second. Dude. Oh, this is looking like a pretty good trade for Byun. Should he keep unloading here, though? Not so sure about that. That felt like a good trade because quite a lot of Zerglings went down, not too many Marines. But, you know, you lose the Widow Mines, you do lose a couple Hellions. He's going to now attack the bottom side at the same time as dropping in the main. Starting to clear this creep. We're talking about how important that creep is. If you can get rid of both of those tumors, that's going to be really nice. Solar's going to have to respread that, but also this creep here has been pushed back. And now this army on the south side pushing through. Solar's been so distracted. He hasn't even had time to work on this creep on the very bottom. But he does anticipate this move in. He's got enough units in the main. Yeah, that should be enough Ling Bane with those Banelings finishing. Bane speed's not quite ready yet still. My gosh, as I said, very, very late Bane speed. It's going to be kicking in about 8:30. Marines coming forward. Widowmine does burrow. There's already one in the bush that he's got to watch out for. Only ends up killing 2 Zerglings, though. The Queens do come forward. The Marines looking to punish the Zerg on the retreat. Not really able to find anything. And yeah, he focuses down a few units, saves some of the Marines. A few okay Baneling hits, though. Nothing that's going to break the bank for either side. Spore Crawler is off creep now and is starting to melt down. You can see its hit points dropping as it's no longer on creep. 4th Command Center is floating out. Byun's got a very good growth on his economy. Picks up these Marines, does pull back. Now, for those who don't know, Byun and Solar are pretty much 50-50 in maps against each other always. At all times. They're always very close in map score, in series score. They're really even at trading back and forth. Doesn't mean, though, that they can't have each other's number and just stomp the other guy one day. Especially if, say, an unscouted Proxy Rax or a Roach Rush just gets a free win. That's a really nice way to kick things off for now. Solar's going to try and take this 5th base on the top. He knows that gold base is out of his reach. Unfortunately, he doesn't have vision down here, so he can't extend his creep beyond there. He sees that the 4th base is coming out. It's actually an orbital. 3 more barracks with... Actually, sorry, 3 more barracks with Tech Labs have gone up, guys. It is 8 barracks play. And the whole army, except for this little double drop, is pushing on the south. That double drop could go by on the north and definitely do some damage. Feels like Solar's map control isn't great. On the other hand, 86 drones. He's got a hive finishing up. His Lurker Den's on the way. There's going to be a lot of high-tech Zerg units coming out soon. Byun would like to trade in the next minute or two before those Lurkers hit the field. He wants to do some big damage. While this Biomine still has some real play in it. For now, how many factories has he got? Oh, no. He's playing pure Biomine. Okay, Byun needs to get some multi-prong going. Otherwise, he's in huge trouble. He's got a big drop inside the main. That could do something. There are units nearby, but Solar might be a little slow to react. Ooh, okay, he does react. 4 drones go down. Look at that, though. Every time you get some damage like that, those 4 drones are basically free kills. And look at this, the Marauder's starting to come in. As the Marauder count grows, that's really going to add some depth to Byun's army. It's going to get Ghosts added as well. That drop is going to snake around the back. The Queen's starting to hit it. Oh, watch out for the Widow Mines! Big Widow Mines land! But a lot of bio going down as well to the Ling Bane. The drop in the back of the Natural is going to try and punish him. It's pretty much cornered at this point, especially if the Queen's focus fire the Medivacs. But the Queen goes down before she can finish the Medivac off. Byun's going to pick up. Red Point Medivac does go down. The other one is still alive, able to go back towards the main base now. Solar on the front has stabilized. There is no 5th command center. There we go, 5th and 6th command center. So Byun is saying, let's just play a mobile Biomine Ghost game. No tanks, no libs, no planetaries. And I'm just going to stay aggressive trading with you, and I'm going to be greedy. I'm going to take lots more command centers. I'm going to keep hitting my upgrades. The thing is, if he loses a fight, Solar just shoves across the map with Lurkers. It's game over right there, right? So he's playing a very dangerous style. It's like, I'm going to defend by being aggressive. That's my goal. Solar right now not ready in the main base. That is huge. If that Lurker Den goes down, that could be massive. Looks like the Marine drop in the back did go into the 3rd and went down there. And here we go. He gets a few drones. Not that many. The Lings are quick to respond. And a good hot pickup there. Oh, watch out for the Abduct. Abduct could ruin him. But he's just going to go for the Parasitic Bomb. Meanwhile, Byun's army on the south doing great. Uh-oh, he just found all the Queens. Knocking Solar back down to 3 Queens. A huge turn in the favor of Byun. Byun did lose a Medivac on the way out of that main. 2 of those Medivacs, in fact. 1 full Medivac survives. A Widowmine does fire there. Get some of the Lings and Banes. There's plenty more Ling Bane where that's left from. This army needs to get out of there. Very little firepower behind it. It's got a handful of Marines and no Widow Mines. It's mostly Marauders, which of course don't do a lot of damage. These Marines here are going to try and trade with that, realizing, nah, that's way too many units for us to fight off right now. As I said, if Solar wins a fight, he can make Lurkers and just shove across the map. His Lurkers aren't already made yet, so it's going to give a bit of time for Ghost to come out for Byun. Nonetheless, Byun has no tanks. He has no planetaries. He has nothing super solid here. He's got to unload these units and get them healing. Finally does start healing them. That command center building on location. These 2 orbitals are morphing in the back. That's going to get him to 6 orbital command centers. That is definitely a good start in the direction of the Iron Bank. That command center goes down. Here we go. He's got some ghosts ready. He's going to stim to that side, but the ghosts are exposed in the front. The SCVs are. The Ling Bane second-guessing themselves a little bit here. Oh man, those SCVs absolutely should have evacuated that base. Huge mistake of Byun to not pull them back, and an even huge mistake of Solar to not capitalize. Finally, he runs in and starts to capitalize on it. The SCV's pulling back way too late. Oh, the Widow Mine's not getting the big hits off that he'd like. Trying to do a bit of a spready is Byun. He actually cleans up the army really cost efficiently. Losing 20 workers and having to lift his 4th, though, is a problem. Can he punish this army by shutting it down? It looks like yes. The answer is yes. Every single Overseer and Lurker gets slaughtered. And that is 5,000 resources in the favor of Byun. Solar, though, Solar has a big economy. He's making more Hydras, Lings, Banes, trying to defend this advance. Byun feeling like he's got to do some counter pressure right now. Unable to even land his 4th base. Finally gets that one landed. Scans on the front, starts to clear up this creep spread. The Lingbane Viper hanging back with the Hydras. Lurkers have not morphed yet. It's just Lingbane Hydra. Solar might have to give this base up. He's going to go Parasitic Bomb and roll in with some Banes. Gets a few of those ghosts in the front, but there's a big spready for Byun. Great Ling run by on the 4th base. Byun decides to attack with his SCVs. A questionable call there, as they do get absolutely destroyed by the Zergling. 7 SCVs already going down. Big snipes, though. A massive push on the front. Dude, Byun is getting such good trades now. The Marauders are so good versus the Banelings. The Ghosts are all cloaked and spreading. There's no detection, so Solar can't even see those Ghosts. He's only got 1 Overseer in there. Snipes going down as well. Beautiful, big, giant spreadies on these armies. Byun's income is really hurting. If Solar can stabilize and clean this up, he'll be in a good spot, but I don't think he can. I don't think he can hold on. He's got a gold base mining in the bottom, though. That is the one thing really going in his favor. That gold base has been going this whole time. Byun has no idea. A single Marine drop would ruin that. It would do so much damage right now. He doesn't realize. He thinks it's just these 5. He scans the gold, and he realizes his folly. He goes, oh, man, if I just sent a few Marines there, this would be a completely different game. But having let Solar mine that gold for quite a few minutes now, Solar has rebuilt up to equal the army supply. He's up 20 workers. Byun's going to try and float a new command center out to that 5th base. If he can get that up, he can definitely maintain this pace for a little while longer. Oh, almost loses a Reddit point medevac. Okay, these Widow Mines are going to need to burrow to try and fight off this chase. Solar getting massive wins here, chasing Byun's army home. Remember, he's got no tanks to fall back on, so his army is very vulnerable. The Overseer does get sniped. Not a bad snipe, but it's not going to weaken this army that much. The Ghosts are cloaking. The Banelings cannot see them. The Ghosts are just trying to stand their ground and fight. But oh my god, that is a lot of Zerg. The medevac's out of energy, stumble into the front line, walk into the Hydras and get annihilated. And the Ghosts are doing a lot of damage, but not before so much Terran has gone down. Lings are even in that 4th mineral line as well. The Banelings do fall. The Hydra's going down. Byun's 5th base is up. He's making it into an orbital right now. He hangs on there. He's traded 8,000 resources more efficient. His Widow Mine gets a Hydra. That's a very good kill for that Widow Mine to be taken out. But it's more Lings, Banes, Lurkers, Hydras on the way. And Byun is stretched so thin. His army down to just 50 army supply. He needs Ghost to deal with the Lurkers, but really I think he needs Widow Mine, Marine, Marauder. Numbers is more important. But he's, of course, building Ghost thinking, well, that's the general purpose unit. That'll keep me alive. Problem is, those Ghosts are a little bit less tanky than the Marauders. Even though they're not light units, they are going to struggle a little bit in that regard. I think having that row of Marauders in the front is huge, and that's why he is now starting 3 more Marauders, 7 Marines, a medevac. Here we go, big Lurker, Ling Bane, run by Ling's on the bottom at the same time. Big push on the north. The Banelings trying to get on top of this army. Ling's ravaging his 5th base. His 4th has been lifted. Byun's trying to hang on, but Solar says, I do not lose to Terran on Stargazers unless your name's Bunny. And even then, it'll take 45 minutes and every resource to get mined out, and I'll still barely lose by a hair's breadth. He just looks so good on this map. Even when things are rough, And he's looking to be in a rough position. I feel like Solar just is so hard to put out of the game. There's too much space between the Terran and the Zerg. He comes across the map. The Widow Mine's doing a bit of friendly fire. Solar might be overextending here. He doesn't really have much Ling Bane coming in to back this up, but he's already killed 32 workers. Byun down to just 40. He does have 8 orbital command centers, so he can mule all day, but his army's too small as well. Parasitic Bombs taking out the last 2 medevacs. The bio getting overrun, and Solar does manage to take it out on his map. All right. Going into Data C, he's tied up the series. Another big map where he's quite hard to take down. But Onside Gaming Solar here in the bottom left. But his opponent, Byun in the top right. Building his barracks nice and far back here. So he's going to try and hide what he's doing from the Overlord. Is he going Reactor first? Is he going for 2 Marines? Is it Reaper? He's going to hide that in the back. And he's actually going... Whoa! Oh, it's CC first into 2 barracks. I just realized this is Command Center first. This is Byun. Now, 2 base pushes are insane on this map. There is this specific tank position. Most Zergs like this 3rd base, but there is a position tank here, tank there that is just brutal. And even if this is the 4th, denying the 4th is huge because those tanks are just, you have to attack it through a tiny choke points between like the minerals, the gas, and the cliff. This base here as well, like if tanks get up on this angle, they're very hard to actually deal with. You know, they start pushing along this cliff. It's really awkward. And Byun is so good with his 2 base pushes, even when the first waves don't go well. So I think it's a really good way to play it out. And you can do that off a 2-1-1 just fine, which is exactly what he's going for. He's going Reactor, then Tech Lab. You'll get a factory as well. Solar, though, realizing his opponent likes to play greedy on this map, he's gone for not a single Zergling. He says, hey, if I see a Reaper go through the middle of this Overlord, like, yeah, I'd build Zerglings reactively. But as it is, he's done nothing but drones. He gets a 3rd base. He's going to start Ling Speed in a little bit, probably go 3rd Queen even before that maybe. Yep, look at that. 3rd Queen starts up here. Ling Speed will start next. No, he's even building an Overlord and more drones and only then goes for the Ling Speed. Wow. Solar. Absolute monster. Overlord sneaking around the right side. Hasn't really seen anything of Byun's setup yet. Byun's down there with the Marine. Doesn't know about the Overlord on the right side, though. Could poke in. But there will be Marines nearby. Oh, he did show himself. I don't think Byun noticed it, though. I don't think Byun noticed it. Starport will go down now. It's always Stim, then Starport and Reactor. And he's going to be going for a double Marine drop. When we say 2-1-1, a lot of people ask, what does that mean? It means 2 barracks, 1 factory, 1 Starport. 1-1-1, 1 barracks, 1 factory, 1 starport is a more standard opening. You might open with 3 barracks, and we'd call that a 3 racks usually. So occasionally people call it a 3-1-1, but usually that's more like the setup that you'd be going to, where you go for 3 barracks before 3rd command center. It gets a little vague there. People start to use the terminology in different ways, but 1-1-1 and 2-1-1 are very much set in the way those are used, so we'll stick to those for now. Already getting up to 10 workers on that 3rd base at 4 minutes and 10 seconds. Okay, guys, he's going to have a fully saturated 3rd at 4:15. This is the power of not building any Zerglings at the very start of the game. Just droning, taking a quick 3rd. Look at that, man. With these extra drones rallying out, 420, 16 workers on location on the base. Not just rallying there, on location mining. Beautiful execution by Solar. Now, the Marines are going to start to move out, even though the medevacs aren't ready. So they're going to get a head start on this, and that's going to allow him to shoot down the Overlord in the middle of the map. Clears the Zergling up there as well. Solar's going double Evo chamber behind this. He does not have a Baneling Nest or a lair just yet. This Overlord's like thinking about hiding. It's like, my time is over. I'll just wait here, at least force the medevacs to join up with it. And you can see he's got 2 Marines in the medevac, so it's going to be a total of 16 Marines here with Stim. Plenty of Queens are ready. They've got 1, 2, 3 transfuses. 4th transfuse will tick in over in about 15 seconds. The 5th and 6th Queen will get some. Okay, big Stim forwards for Byun. Okay, great defense by Solar. This is way too ambitious for Byun. He needs to get out of there. This is a really bad move by Byun, guys. Really bad. That's horrendous. That is a terrible start for him. 24 Zerglings for a medevac and 12 Marines. Any Zerg will take that trade just about any day. Especially if Solar moved his Queen forward here, he could already be hitting that medevac. So, you know, a bit too much respect there, I think, for his opponent not moving that Queen north. Despite that, massive win for Solar. He's going for a lair, 1-1 upgrades. He's adding the extra gases. He can go straight for a 4th base. Third command center is on the way, so it's going to be a 3-Rex Marine tank push to follow this up on this northern angle. He wants to get this tank spot we were talking about, so he wants to try and push into the third base. But yeah, Solar's already respreading creep up there, making it very costly for him to do anything like that. Oh, another medevac almost goes down. Damn. Really bad stuff. Oh, Solar's off creep though. Solar with a bit of a mistake. Byun was a little slow to capitalize. He does get some tank shots, so 2 queens go down though. That creep will get denied, and he even gets the fresh, brand new tumors over on the right side. Oh, that's really good for Byun. He wants that queen. Just gets another transfuse though, and that's it. And he's going to try and leverage this push forward. Now, Solar might be traumatized from their previous game, so he might think he's being 2-base all-in and play really cautiously, whereas there is SCVs, third command center, double upgrades coming in behind this. So this time around, I actually wish Byun hit his third command center in the main, just so that the Zerglings that poke the ramp wouldn't see it. That Zergling gets a few hits off on the tank. Not bad, not bad. And you can see the tank here actually creates a choke point where only so many Zerglings can hit it. I would actually prefer the tank to be just slightly to the left so that it has even less surface area. But it is what it is. Another double drop moving out. Lots of Lings ready here for run-bys, but no Banelings morphs. We can't really bust through. Baneling speed's on the way. 1-1 upgrades will be finishing. And a mass Zergling army actually is very effective at cleaning these pushes up. Banelings really struggle to get on top of these positions, but if you're playing almost pure Zergling, it's very hard for your opponent to really do much. So you can see that way Byun wants to get a tank over here. Solar's so aware of it, he's just staying there. He's like, no! No! I wouldn't mind Byun going and dropping in this corner. Just trying to get a little bit of damage, not sieging up or anything, not losing any units, but just trying to scare his opponent. Tank's going to siege up. Solar will see the third moving out immediately, and that's very good for him. His third was trying to block that base. Lots of Ling Bane up there on that side. He's going to start breaking the rocks down, realizing, okay, if Byun's going to slow this down, fine. If Byun moves his medevac forward, he is in range of that army. He just doesn't have vision of it right now. A few Marines in the middle of the map could also delay these rocks going down, which would keep another angle very possible for Byun. See now, he can see and hear those getting broken down. If his screen's somewhere nearby, of course, if your screen's nowhere nearby, you will not hear those fighting noises. The Marines here. Oh. Okay, good pickups. Does save those units. The rocks have gone down, though. Still got an army in position. Does Byun. Feels like Solar's stabilizing pretty well, though, on 71 workers. 8 Marines on the bottom going to come in. And he's going to go for a drone, another drone, a queen. And that's a pretty good way of doing it. This army's going to just go past. He says, hey, there's no way you have enough Marines to guard the siege tank. But Byun says, okay, well, if you're going to do that, I'll punish you. He goes deeper on those drones, takes it out. Looks like the army in the top left got taken out at the same time. Drop now hiding in the backside. Let's look at the units lost tab. 3 tanks, 29 Marines for 99 Zerglings, a Baneling, 3 queens, and 8 drones. Oh, that's a dead medevac. Almost. 14 hit points, 2 queen shots from death. So it's got to hide in the back now. And he's going to be moving out towards the front. Let's check his add-ons, guys. 1, 2, 3 tech labs, 2 reactors. And he's going for 3 more reactors. So he wants to get his Marauder count up nice and early. Oh, Byun is building for a huge, meaty army. He's going to go for so many of these Marauders up front. That'll be very hard for Banelings to deal with. Solar's got to play a careful game against that. Zerglings will beat the crap out of Marauders, but if they have enough Marines behind them, maybe a few Widow Mines, that could be big. Factory is not producing Widow Mines, though. A crucial mistake for Byun right now. Luckily for him, his 4th command center is halfway done. Hopefully he can move out to take that soon. But yeah, not building Widow Mines. If you have a few Widow Mines mixed in with your Marauders, they become way better because the enemy will naturally stack up around their tanky bodies, and that means the Widow Mines can get massive hits on top of them. Concussive also slows down the advance of the units. 1 Widow Mine does queue up here finally for Byun, but he is a little bit supply blocked, which is why he can't build more than that. Nice double drop on the north, but the Lings are on top of it. Byun needs to get out of there. Does save 8 of those Marines. He's going to go to the fuck ledge. It's been a while since we've seen someone drop a whole medevac there. I think the Queens are going to take care of that pretty easily, though. You can see with the Overlords there. Easy cleanup. Does pull those medevacs out. 1 Reddit point medevac surviving. Another one in the back of the natural is going to try and unload. It is 1 hit from death, so this is indeed a one-way trip. Solar doesn't realize it until a few moments too late, but only 1 drone going down. Can he get a queen or 2? Not nice micro by Solar. Well, at least the Marines are making a good account of themselves, gunning down a bunch of Zerglings that go through 1 or 2 at a time. Very annoying for Solar to deal with. He loses a few Overlords there. A giant dive on the south! Gets the hatchery, just a mass Marine Marauder dive. He lets these medevacs and Marines go down. They trade it out pretty decently, and he just goes for the giant dive. But oh my god! 55 banelings! Whoa! Big Widow Mine, but it doesn't get the giant hit that he was hoping for. Too much of his army is inside the medevacs right now. These SCVs need to run. Byun has been so slow to run his SCVs from his bases in all of these games. It's a huge mistake in my opinion. Oh man, those medevacs still have not unloaded. He's finally unloading. He's spreading backwards, but 16 SCVs go down, and Solar on the defense for 5 minutes straight says F you and does a big effective counter swing. These Bane's not getting the best hits there by any means. You can see, obviously, it's cost efficient for Byun, but he needs more than cost efficiency. He's going to pick up 4 full medevacs, go drop that north side of the map. He realizes he needs to do something with his army. He can't just sit back and let Solar get up to lurkers. He's not really focusing on his SCV reproduction right now. He's going to try and take a 4th on the bottom. Very interesting. Usually this base is much easier to defend, but Byun's going for the sort of surprising base, hoping his opponent doesn't spot him taking it. Bio unloads in the main base. Queens there are taking some shots. 1 queen goes down. The Marauder's very tanky, especially when they've got medevacs healing them. The Lings are going to eventually get through this, though. There's not that much firepower. Queen on the bottom does go down, and they are going to be able to transfuse each other for a little bit, but only if he's able to stare at it and keep tapping those transfuses. Another queen goes down, as does another one. Man, the queens, there's only 3 left on this map. Losing your queens is always such a problem as a Zerg. These last 3 queens on the high ground are all he's got left. Solar, though, with the transfuses looking sick. Byun says, screw you, I'm going to kill those. Picks up and drops on top of them. Manages to take out 1 more, 2 more. There's only 1 queen left on the map. Luckily for Solar, he has 6 hatcheries. So he'll still have decent production just off their base lava, production. But he's got to rebuild queens, which is incredibly expensive. The Marine Marauder gets on the fuck ledge, and there's no ranged units. He's building 5 Hydras right now, but he doesn't have any Hydra upgrades. The Marine Marauder goes back to the high ground. They're going to take out the very last queen on the map. And that is a lovely pick-off here for Byun. Focuses down another couple of workers here. Vipers are out, but they don't have any energy yet. And Byun's going to have to pull out. He's got another big army on the right side. There's no real answer to the Liberators. The Widow Mines are a bit clumped up. Can the Banelings get in on top of them? Oh! Big Widow Mine boom booms! A beautiful spready from Byun as well, and it looked like Solar had gotten the momentum after that big Ling Bane attack, but he lost so many units afterwards. And look at this, Byun's even redropping in the main base. Uh-oh, Solar's 5th base is in trouble. This army on the right pushing in. The redrop in the main forces a diversion of Solar's reinforcements over to that left side, and that means he's just a bit too weak on the right. The Marine Marauder dives in on the right side. That hatchery is down to half-life right now. The Marine Marauder Widow Mine just constantly parading forwards. Parasitic Bomb pops down one of those medevacs. That hatchery on the right does survive. The redrop in the main, though, another 6 drones, and a queen goes down. Solar may have saved his 5th base, but at what cost? It opened up the opportunity for these units to get back in the main. 10 more drones, and another queen goes down. There's still only 1 queen on the map, with 1 in production. The Hydras on the right side. Solar keeps on sending way too many units to deal with that left side, and then not leaving them there to shut it down. So they're back on the fuck ledge one more time. Absolutely delicious usage of that ledge. And we've got, of course, the medevacs pulling back on the right side, still hanging out on the high ground, denying mining on the 3rd base is Byun. The 5th base surviving on 330 hit points. Not something Solar's very happy with. Look at that, the Lings come in and straight back to the ledge of banging. Accidentally drops on the low ground there. Bit of a mistake for Byun. Those Hydras and Lings might finally be able to clear this up. Over on the right side, a big spready of bio tank. It looks like the F-ledge units are finally going down. Solar has to tap out. Byun, with some great killer instinct, takes the sneaky base because he knew he wasn't leaving any units at home. So he said, screw it, just go for broke. I didn't even know if he had any units here defending that base or even mining from it. He did have 1 full base of workers mining there. But what an amazing parade push for Byun. He takes him out. Well played. All right, guys. Let's go. Game number 4. Solar in the top right. And Waterfall, a pretty small map. It's a scary map to be playing against Byun. But I feel almost like Byun is just so good on the giant maps right now with that style he's doing, with this like just constant aggression and keeping you pinned back. It really is hard to deal with. Apologies to those of you with children nearby. Letting some of me language slip by. We'll call it the bang ledge from now on. This map does not have a bang ledge. There's someone who's angry. They're like, no, don't censor yourself, pig. Oh, the occasional F-bomb might still drop out on the channel, as well as some other ones, but we'll see how we go. We'll see how we go. I always like it if I can come up with a more creative way, where actually I make you think of the word in your head without me explicitly saying it. That's like a little game I like to play. It's good fun. Either way, the most important thing is that we watch and enjoy the bloody games, isn't it? So, Byun not scouting here. What a surprise. Now, is he going to go command center before Marine? He's been enjoying that a lot. Let's see if he does it again here. So he goes orbital and no Marine. No, he's going to go reactor first. Where's that orbital? There we go. Orbital. Just half a second late. Not a big deal. So reactor first, going to allow him to pump out those Marines 2 at a time. Now, I actually feel like Solar's going to win this map. And the reason is a lot of Zergs have been playing Waterfall so well, man. So damned well. Like, they've been kicking butts. Second depot goes up there as well. Very nice, very nice. And, okay, so we've got... Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like every time the Terran takes their 4th, it just gets blown up. Their 5th never gets secured. I've seen so many games of Solar rolling over Terran on this that I don't think he's going to go down easy. I think we're going to see a game 5. That's obviously me being a little hopeful because I like seeing more games of these guys clashing and fighting each other. Overlord does come in, sees the barracks, doesn't show itself. I'm surprised that Byun isn't rallying to the edge to try and you know, catch an Overlord, but it's just going to send those boys down to the front. He's going 3 racks. Ooh, not a bad way to play on such a map. Solar, though, seeing reactor first, is going to know there's quite a bit of Marine production. Sometimes that goes into Hellions afterwards. But I think the problem is with the 3 racks build, because you're not building Hellions afterwards, usually the Terran's quite defensive with the Marines. And that gives away, if you've seen reactor first, they're probably playing 3 racks. As I say it, I guess Byun is actually going to go out and look for the Overlords and see if he can pick away at anything. So with this build order, you want to go double tech lab here and start pumping out stim and shields. And really go for a very big, crisp Marine attack on the front. He's got Marines looking everywhere. I don't think he found the Overlord, though. He's like, where are these Overlords, man? So, Solar using that vision advantage. For those who don't know, Overlords have many eyeballs on them. You can see it there on the front of their face. 4 eyeballs on each side of their head. So they have extra vision. And Marines... having one of the shorter visions in the game. Workers, usually the shortest. And other than like burrowed units and constructing buildings, of course. Okay, we've got 6 Marines there. They'd like to kill an Overlord, but yeah, Solar anticipates it. Solar's like, I know how this build works. So he's up front, ready to defend his Overlord. Well played, well played. This Overlord tries to poke in. Marine does defend it. Are we going to see an engineering bay with this build? Doesn't look like it. He's going for a second gas geyser. I imagine he's going to feel a bit of urgency to get the factory behind it. So I would imagine factory goes down about 415. You can see he's spent all of his gas on these upgrades. And usually your first 100 gas goes towards the factory. So you can see, yeah, there we go. 4 minutes, very crisp. Super crisp build from Byun. He's going to move out right now. He's got 16 Marines on this map. He's even bringing that one that was guarding the ledge before. These Zerglings do go down. Nice catch there. Solar, he's got 6 Queens. He's going to start putting Zerglings. I'd like to see him pull this Overlord back, right? There's no reason for that to be out there. Byun moving to the right side. He doesn't actually know where the 3rd is. Now, that means if he stims in here, he might have to commit up the natural ramp. Not sure he wanted to do that. He's got stim and shields are finishing in about, what? Stim's not done for 27 seconds, so fair enough. He doesn't really want to fight just yet. The Marines should gun down that Zergling pretty quickly. It goes down behind this. He's got an extra gas engineering bay in the wall off as well. He'll add some upgrades behind this. Mass Lings, some Banes, extra Queens, all on the way for Solar. Solar's treating this with the utmost of respect. Oh. Okay, here we go. Marines moving around that left side. I think Solar's respected this enough that you probably don't want to overcommit. You never know. Sometimes you get in there, you focus down 1 or 2 Queens, and it spirals. You focus the Banelings down as well. Byun known for that focus fire. Gets a creep tumor. Doesn't really go for anything else just yet. Ling Bane looks like it's looking for a flanky flank there. The Marines do come back down. Solar! Ambush! Okay, he's got to just focus the Banes. Byun has to focus the Banes. He's got to focus the Banes, but he's not doing it. Terrible choice for Byun. If he focused the Banes, he could have done that. But without focusing the Banes, he gets surrounded, absolutely rolled. And that is a devastating victory for the Zerg. 3rd command center goes down, but Byun is looking to be in a very terrible position. Solar says it's not just you who can hang out and secretly bang people. Sneaks in the back door behind that army and gives them a punch in the back of the head. Yeah, it's a good move. I think not enough people will flank the 3 racks and try to surprise it with their army. I do think, though, if he just stays in a ball and focuses down the Banelings, it's like 6, maybe 7 Banes. I don't know if he shoots down all the Banes, but I think at most one of them connects with his Marines and only half of them, so he would have had a better trade. As it is, relatively even trading is terrible for the Terran in this position because his 3rd is nowhere near. So you got to look at the income. You put yourself at an income deficit, so you need to take more efficient trades with that better army that you have. He hasn't been able to do that. Now he's going to start doing some desperate drop harass. He's got tanks and libs on the way, which tell us that he's going to go all in. What do you mean, Pig? How does that tell you that? Well, because he's not going for the things that'll give him any longevity in the game. So he's basically just saying, look, I'll harass you, and then I'm going to go for tanks and liberators, which are really good in the immediate term as pushing units. Technically, I could harass with them, but he's not even building SCVs. So even though he has a third base, he only wants to saturate the minerals on that base, and he's focusing more on marine tank lib rather than constantly producing SCVs. He's even building a 6th barracks there. Marines go for a little drippy droppy, picks off 1 or 2 banelings, does get deflected. 3 more barracks already going down. So yeah, Byun's going to do a 3 base, 8 racks all in. You can usually do this off 55, at most like 63 workers is the highest you ever need. But pretty rare that people go for it. He might, since he's only on 1 engineering bay, it's a really weird version of it, where I think he's just going to stay on +1 attack, no other upgrades. His Liberator's trying to harass on this left side of the map. They get spotted both by the Overlord and by a Zergling. Solar, though, did he notice it? His queens should be moving up there in a Spore Crawler building. He builds the Spore after spotting it a 3rd time, and his queen's still not moving, though. Big mistake for Solar. These libs could do a little bit of harassment damage. Nice Marine army moving out the right side. 11 Marines in production right now. He's not even waiting for add-ons on these barracks. Just non-stop Marines here for Byun. He stims in the front, does take down a few creep tumors. Liberated sliding in the back door, but the Spore Crawler's up. He's only able to deny the gas mining. Gets 1 queen from the low ground. 5 new tumors on the right side. Very well done. And the Spore moves. The Liberators answer that by moving themselves. And you know what? He's actually going to siege that base, but the queens are up there. This might be a bit of a waste of these Liberators. Queens are on top of it. Good micro on the Marines, but he does have to get up and get out of there. A few Marines do go down. And look at that. The Liberator's falling once again, even on the units lost tab, which is just so good for Solar. Those libs would have helped so much with the push. This is a huge attack that Byun's going for. He knows he's going to be massively out-upgraded the longer this game is. He thinks about going for an armory. He realizes, I don't even have the gas for an armory, dude. Just building tanks and medevacs is more than I can really even handle right now. Solar's ready to ambush him, and that's something he was missing in game 1. Oh, I think Byun's going to lose all of his tanks here. Solar, let's see if he sees this army and jumps on it. They're about to stumble into each other, guys. They both barely see each other. Byun notices first. And he's got to drop in the main at the same time. Solar letting him slip on by. Big mistake for Solar. Oh, no! The spawning pool goes down. He immediately rebuilds one, but still, that's about 30, 40 seconds where he cannot build army units. He's way up on supply, so it might be okay, but this also allows the tanks to get in position. Oh my god, look at that tank position. That is beautiful for Byun, but the creep spread is so deep that he might just get shoved out of this position immediately. Oh man, the Banelings force the Marines back. The tanks go down. Drop is still alive in the back of that base, but Byun leaves those front 2 tumors alive, which means he's not going to be set up for the future of this push. He does start focusing down the Queens, gets one of them that's full on energy, and he's going to go for the Hydras now, but oh, so many Marines die at the tail end of that fight. Byun looking desperate. He does drop in the natural at the same time. He's doing a lot of damage. He's forcing a lot of Lings out of position. Oh my god, the Marines break through the Hydralisk line. The Hydra rank fails at the same time he picks up in the main base. Byun doing a great job of preserving his units. These Hydras are starting to fall. Good micro by Solar to keep them alive a little bit longer. He's got a tank now that he can fall back on. The Marines need to fall back to that. One of the medevacs goes down. The other one, though, if it takes even a single Spore Crawler shot, it will fall. The Marines and the tanks push back the Hydras very efficiently. The full medevac goes down. Solar finally finding a way to stabilize, and if he loses this base, he's still on 4 hatcheries, so it's not game over losing this base. Marine tank libs sieging up deep on in there, trying to fight against this. It's 1-1 upgrades versus 1-1, but there's 13 Marines building at a time, and that is devastating. The tank and 1 Liberator fall, but there's still 1 Liberator left up in the skies. Here we are. I thought Solar was going to win this map. He had a great start to it, but there's still that tank in the back. The Baneling gets some of the Marines, and he does get rid of that siege tank, as well as the Liberator, removing the most annoying units. Despite that, though, Byun has double the army supply, and double the army supply means twice as many guns in your backyard. Not something you want with your defenseless drone children nearby. Oh my god, Byun! It doesn't matter how the hell these games start. He always just keeps on pushing, and he goes more and more aggressive, and he somehow finds a way to do it there. Absolute monster. I am so afraid of Byun right now in this matchup. What a complete beast. GG, well played.